By the time Mira turned 10, she had already learned how to fold parts of herself away. It didn't happen all at once. It started with little things. The name tag, the uniform, the way teachers smiled when she was quiet, but looked disappointed when she didn't raise her hand. They called her polite, quiet, easy to manage. But inside, she often felt invisible. Elementary school was louder now. The kids talked faster. The questions had right answers. There was less time for sitting by windows, less patience for the way Mira thought in quiet patterns instead of quick reactions. She still loved the world deeply, but she had stopped showing it. She remembered what it felt like to chase dragonflies barefoot, to draw flowers with faces in the margins of her journal, to sing with her rabbit when no one was listening. But in school, those things didn't matter. What mattered was participate more, make eye contact, work faster. She followed the rules, sat where she was told, spoke only when called on, smiled just enough not to seem strange. And little by little, she watched herself disappear. Recess was the hardest part. The girls her age had already formed circles. They huddled in groups, whispering things Mira didn't understand. About phones, shows she hadn't seen, people they liked or didn't. Sometimes they invited her to play, but only to give her the part no one else wanted. She was always the bad guy, the monster, the one who had to lose in the end. Mira didn't want to be the bad guy. She never was. But she played the part quietly, because not playing meant sitting alone. And being alone, day after day, felt worse than being misunderstood. So she agreed. She played roles that didn't fit her. She handed out candies to be liked, gave away small things to stay included. Friendship became something to earn, not something to receive. She wasn't ready for that kind of transaction, but she learned it anyway. In class, she started to blend in more than ever. When the teacher asked for volunteers, she looked at her desk. When group work started, she let others lead. When she got something right, she smiled, but never too much. Attention felt unsafe, and silence became her safest place. She stopped drawing butterflies, and when the classroom got too loud, she stopped letting her mind drift back to the garden. Even her daydreams didn't feel welcome anymore. One day, a substitute teacher asked the class, "What do you want to be when you grow up?" Everyone had an answer: a doctor, an astronaut, a singer, a YouTuber. When it was Mira's turn, she paused, then said softly, "I want to be an artist." She reached into her notebook and held up a drawing, a quiet garden filled with wildflowers, a butterfly in midair, its wings outstretched. For a moment, she felt proud. But the substitute only glanced at it, then said, "How can you call that art?" Her voice wasn't cruel, just flat, dismissive, like Mira had handed her something small and unimportant. Mira's heart sank. She tried to hold back her tears. She had put so much of herself into that page, her stillness, her seeing, her softness. And in a second, it was brushed aside. After class, Mira didn't show her drawings to anyone. She folded her notebook and kept it hidden in her bag. Not because she stopped loving art, but because she realized not everyone sees what she sees, and not everyone deserves to. At home, her parents were tired. Their love was real, but rushed. There were groceries to carry in, bills to pay, arguments that started and ended too quickly for her to understand. They asked how school was. She said, "Fine." They believed her. Sometimes, before bed, she would whisper out loud, "I know I'm not loud. I know I don't sparkle the way others do, but I still shine, even if no one notices." She curled under the blanket, her stuffed duck beside her, the moonlight pooling on the edge of her pillow. She looked peaceful, because in that stillness, she didn't have to prove anything. She could simply exist. and remember who she was before the world asked her to be less.